Hello, my absolutely beautiful Capricorn friends, and welcome to your horoscope for September of 2023. We're Capricorn. Awesome news this month. We've got Venus coming out of retrograde. We've got Mercury coming out of retrograde. Jupiter is going to step into retrograde. And these are all really good energies to kind of help initiate moving some things forward. And that Jupiter retrograde, I think, is more profound and powerful than a lot of people are giving credit for, because things have been expanding so much that now we kind of need to slow down and trim the excess and the fat so that you can see what you really have to work with. It slows down the pace a little bit, because all the goodness is really great, but sometimes even the blessings are as heavy as the challenges, right? So we have to get a handle on that. So I think there's some really awesome areas where we will shed excess, but also be able to initiate some energy moving forward. Now, the other thing to keep in mind is that we are in the window of the eclipse season, which will kick off in October. So big deal. It is a big deal. The change of energy is going to start to pick up every week as we move forward. So I want you to just be prepared, be ready for that. And also, this month I'm wondering how much you found out about, during the Venus retrograde, where you really left some passion and what you want for the future that you are creating for yourself. All right, beautiful Capricorn friends, let's get in here and see what the month has to offer. Right away at the beginning of the month on the 3rd, we're going to see Venus turn direct in the energy of Leo. Now, Venus is coming direct at 12 degrees of Leo, and we have traveled the path from 28 degrees of Leo to 12. Now, I want you to also keep in mind that the full Venus retrograde cycle has moved from June 19th and will close out October 7th. So we do have the space where you can initiate new things. Things can start to come forward, especially truly if you feel like you have needed to detox something from your life because it doesn't have value anymore, or you needed to detox things in your life because you realized your focus and your priorities were all over the place in this 8th house. Venus has really, I think, helped you to bring some clarity to that. Now, in things regarding intimacy and assets, this has also been a big working area for you. So it's like, first of all, in how you make money or how you share space with another being, whether that be a bank or your partner, have you forgotten yourself? Did you leave behind your own voice or your own passion? And this is where Venus has also been working. So this is a place where you can reconsider that it's like, okay, I'm a little bit more focused on what I really want to do and what I really want to create in this 8th house. And I'm willing to shed which doesn't belong here in order for me to do that. And some of what we find in the 8th house is that we've had patterns of belief or behavior that really have needed to be detoxed. Also, just curious, let me know in the comment section down below, but where did you find out that you had a view of the things happening in your life in 2015 that is no longer valuable to you? Because remember, this cycle has also been about bringing a healing and a clarity to that vibration of 2015 when Venus was retrograde there before. Now, when we get to the 4th, we see Jupiter turning retrograde in the energy of Taurus. So this is going to be traveling the path between 15 and 5 degrees of Taurus. And we will see the Jupiter retrograde end completely March 23rd of 2024. Okay. As Jupiter has been traveling through Taurus, it has been lighting up this 5th house place. Pleasure, children, romance, self-expression, taking a risk in some way, and the plan could have been big. You could have said, I've got a lot of different ideas. I have a lot of ideas of passive income streams. I have a lot of ideas of where I want to live that really lights me up. These things could have been great and just expanding and expanding and expanding, and maybe even plans, Jupiter, were already in the work. The big plans were already in the work. And now as Jupiter's going to take this retrograde, you have an opportunity to relook at the mission. A lot of information or a lot of expansion could have come here, and you're like, okay, hold on. I need to look at everything that's happened, gather all the facts that have come to me, and reorganize the plan or develop the next pathway forward. And this is a great time for it because there is some excess. Go to the Taurus area of your chart and look, there's excess somewhere, and we need to trim the fat of that a little bit, and you'll be able to do that so that you can focus on putting all of your beautiful enthusiasm and that growth mindset that you have to good use by not being so scattered, okay? When we get to the 14th, we've got a new moon happening at 21 degrees of Virgo, fellow earth energy, and this is lighting up your 9th house space. So a beautiful opportunity to plant your seeds of intention, to grow in your 9th house area, to expand, to go on the adventure, to expand past your own horizons. Now, it's interesting because sometimes what happens as the moon is happening in the 9th house, specifically the moon, is it's like, I can't really tell you what's up. I don't like the way things are going. I don't like the routine that's happening here. I don't like the teachers I'm connected with. I don't like my country. Like, these things can be big, expanding out energies. And so as the moon is lighting this area up for you, it's in connection with Uranus, which is bringing something new, a new spirit to your life. You're like, I'm ready for that new adventure, but you may not be super clear on it at this particular moon because this moon also opposes Neptune. So the perspective you had on, this is my idea, this is my ideal way to do these things, this is the intangible vision I have for this. You're having to take really new or different actions, or you're having to get to a place emotionally, Capricorn, that is really very different and has a different perspective in order for you to make progress moving this forward. So plant your seeds of intention to come at your life, to come at your ideal arrangements and adventures from a renewed perspective, from a renewed emotional perspective, saying, if the old such and such, the old routine, this mundane life isn't doing it for me, please show me, grant me clarity, bring fresh eyes to how I can handle the details of this area of my life with a different vibration. Okay, that's really the best way to handle it, because that Neptune can have you confused if you try to work against it. When we get to the 15th, there's a little bit more clarity that pours in here as well, with Mercury, the ruling planet of that Virgo moon, coming out of retrograde. So this again is the helper in the 9th house space. So where you want to make new decisions, where you want to put a new job, a new habit, a new way to expand into action, and it's a bit more innovative. Maybe it's even unusual for your taste and style. This is the time to let Mercury help you do that. Now remember, Mercury also does not leave its full retrograde cycle until we get to September 30th. So it may not be until the end of the month coming into October that you're like, okay, I feel a lot more clear and I'm really ready to get at this. But the movement forward here has been coming, okay? On the 23rd, we've got the sun entering into the vibration of Libra. Now, this is just next door to all that Virgo work you've been doing. So now we're going to light up your 10th house space, the house of work, reputation, title. These sorts of things are now back on the table. Now, one of the things I want to bring your attention to is look back over this last year. What has the work situation, your reputation, how has it changed? Where has the title that you call yourself? Were you single and now you're a parent, or now you are in a relationship, right? How has your title in public changed? And from here moving forward, where do you want it to go? This is a great way to use your Libra season. Let the sun have you motivated to create the beautiful vision of you in public, to create the beautiful work, to call in the money and the relationships that help this area of your life grow. That's a wonderful way to use this Libra energy. As we're going to close out the month here on the 29th, we've got a full moon happening at 6 degrees of Aries, and this lights up your 4th house space. Okay. Now, between the new moon and this full moon, that 2 weeks that's been traveling in there, one of the things that may have been happening, I think, for you, it's a possibility, is that there's been a lot of work. You've been putting in work, you've been putting in a lot of effort. And as this full moon comes along in this 4th house, first of all, it asks us to end something, acknowledge something, or to make an adjustment, right? The full moon is the sun and the moon pulling in opposition. So we need to find the sweet spot of balance in the middle, or things will be off kilter. So this is a great time, Capricorn. Just come back to home. What needs to happen actually in your physical home? What do you need to do? What do you need to get motivated to do in your home to bring some things to a close? Because, if the laundry has been in the corner for 2 weeks, it's time to do it because stuff equals stress. Okay, so you want to make sure that this area of your life, you don't have the extension, the overextension. You don't have too much going on. You're really tidying this up, because when you take care of the me, Aries, then the we, the outside world, can feel a little bit more in balance because you feel grounded. So what things need your attention in this area, go ahead and bring them to a close. This can include, for some of you, you may be looking for a new place to live. You may be ready to close out an old lease and to begin a new one. I would tell you, the energy that you spend on your home in any fashion over this next 2 weeks from the 29th on is going to be of influential value to you to help you be grounded in the weeks moving forward. So let me know what you're changing in your domestic zone as we're traveling to the end of this month. And if you can, you'll know, I think this is something you can kind of keep an eye on. If you're really doing a lot of work still and it's really outside of the house and you haven't had a chance to come back in the house, you may begin to feel that emotional imbalance. And instead of treating it as I'm wrong, I'm bad, I'm doing, just come back to center. Come back to the center. That's what we always want in an opposition, is to come to center and rebalance the attention and the energy and say, okay, I've got a lot going on outside of the home. Let me see what I can do in the home to bring a little bit of the restoration of balance. I love you, Capricorn friends. Have a gorgeous month, and let's get ready for these eclipses that are peaking up as we get into October. Bye, friends.